All right, guys. Today is Tuesday, April 14th, 2020. We are working on topic skill 15-1, lines, rays, and angles. That's what we're working on. So the notes that you're going to take today is going to be everything that you're going to see on this lesson when you go to Pearson Realize. However, I wanted to show you exactly how you can write it down so that you can use it to answer the questions correctly when you get to the lesson in there. So I want you to take your paper and break it up into 3 parts. The first part is going to be the actual term, like vocabulary word. The middle is going to be the definition. And then the last column is going to be the example. You can pause so that you can make sure your paper looks the way it needs to look. Now, the first word is point. You write it down, your term. Then the definition of point is an exact location in space. So when we're talking about lines, rays, and angles, if it's a point, it's just saying what's the point that looks like anything on a line or a shape or whatever have you. And a point, this is an example of a point. It looks like a period, and it'll have a letter under it. In this case, this is point Z. Point Z. It could be called A, it could be called D, it could be called Y, it could be called any letter. But for this example, I'm showing you point Z. If you need to pause to write it down, do so. The next word is line. A line is a straight path of points going in opposite directions. So a line is a straight path of points going in opposite directions. The example here, you see 2 points on a straight line, and the arrows are going opposite directions. So this line is called AB, line AB. You can pause so that you can see it. Now, the next word, line AB, the next word is going to be line segment. Line segment is a part of a line with 2 endpoints. So the difference between a line and a line segment, the line has the arrows going in opposite directions. The line segments don't have arrows because they're not going in opposite directions. It's just like a part of a shape usually. So it has just the 2 points, one endpoint. This is line segment GR, which it looks like this. Line segment GR. If you need to pause it, do so. Okay, now the next word is a ray. Like a ray of light, ray. So a ray is a part of a line that has one endpoint and goes on forever in one direction. So it's kind of like a line, but instead of going in both directions, it's just going in one direction. So it could be going to the right or it could be going to the left, but just one direction. So this ray is called NO, and it's going to the right. So you have the 2 endpoints, but there's only one arrow. So take your time for that one. I'm going to turn on the light so you can see. If you need to pause to write this down, pause. All right, now the next word is called an angle. All right, we're going to be focusing on angles now. So an angle is formed by 2 rays that have the same endpoint. So this right here is an example of a right angle, which is right underneath it that we'll be discussing. As you can see, it looks like an L, and it has 3 endpoints on it as A, B, and C. The way that you write an angle, how it's labeled, it's going to have like a greater than sign, and then it's going to say the letters that are there. A, B, C. Now this B, that's usually what the angle is. So if you see that B here and we're looking at it, if it's a right angle, you would say right angle or 90 degrees because that's what a right angle is. If it's an acute, you'll see. If it's an obtuse, you'll see. If it's a straight line, you'll see exactly what to write. So that's how you write for an angle. That's an example. You can pause here to write down what you need to finish writing down. All right, next task. Now for a right angle. Trying to get it so that there's no glare. Okay, so that glare just says right angle. A right angle forms a square corner. So just like the example before, that L shape, this is a right corner. So it puts a square in that corner. And again, the angle is ABC and it's 90 degrees. A right angle is only 90 degrees. It's never anything else but 90 degrees. If you see it 90 degrees, it's a right angle. If you see a right angle, it's 90 degrees. Next would be acute angle. An acute angle is open less than a right angle, and it's from 0 degrees to 89 degrees because it's less than a right angle. A right angle is 90, so an acute angle is less than 90. So any number that's less than 90. You can see in the example that it shows an acute angle here. The acute angle is DEF, and you see that it's smaller than the square, and that dashed line is to show you that right angle, but it's less than 90. So it's anywhere from 0 to 89 degrees. This little circle thing is called a degree. So that doesn't say 890, that says 89 degrees. If you need to pause it, go for it. All right, the next one is obtuse, an obtuse angle. An obtuse angle, let me move this down. An obtuse angle is open more than a right angle, and it's more than 90 degrees. So that means it's anywhere from 91 degrees to 179 degrees. The reason why we stop at 179 degrees is because a straight line is 180 degrees. And if it happens to get to 180 degrees, then it's no longer an obtuse angle. It's called a straight line or a straight angle from there. So if you need to pause to write this down, go for it. This is an obtuse angle. Now the last one, obviously you can take a guess, is the straight angle that I was talking about. Straight angle has a little bit of a glare. Straight angle, it forms a straight line and it's 180 degrees. As you can see, the example here is just looks like a straight line with 3 endpoints on it. That's exactly what you would see. And it would be JKL. That's the angle name in this case. And it's 180 degrees. It can't be more than that. It can't be less than that. It's just 180 degrees. And that would be a straight angle. Now, an example that you're going to see on your questions for your quick check is going to be that there are 2 acute angles, or 1 acute angle and 1 obtuse angle in one picture, that it's going to ask you what degree is this, or what would be any of the other angles that can fit inside of this degree, or whatever have you. But when you see a picture, I'm going to show you the example. When you see a picture like this, that's just saying that there are 2 angles here. Here's 1 obtuse angle. This is obtuse. And then right here, the small one is an acute angle. Now, remember, this whole line equals 180 degrees. So whatever this obtuse angle is, it has to fit inside the 180 degrees, and whatever is left over from that needs to be for the acute. So let's say this one was 120 degrees. So now if I do 180 minus 120, what am I left with? I'm left with 60 degrees. And that would be the acute, the 60 degrees. If you need me to repeat that, just rewind this back and I'll say the same thing again. Thank you.